Hi everyone, my name is Boitumelo Botlhoko. I am a child of God. I'm also a daughter. I am a cousin. I am a friend. I am also a secretary at the National Mentorship Program for the CISA Student Division and also a junior moderator. I'm also currently doing my BCom honors in Industrial Psychology at the University of the Western Cape. Now, before we get into the questions that you all provided for me when you were engaging with the poll, thank you so much to everyone who literally did drop down the questions that they have. I would like to take this opportunity and give glory to God because truly I cannot say it was all by my strength nor by my might that I'm here, but throughout my journey, I can see God's fingerprint literally crafting my story and being there at every single point and detour, even when I felt that things are not going the way I thought they would, but it was all unraveling and it's continuing to do so for my own good. So I just wanted to say that. And I also wanted to give thanks to Ms. Tanya Meyer for giving me this opportunity to share my story. And hopefully my story will be a reminder to other people that it is possible, don't disqualify yourself. Trust in the qualities that you were born with. Trust in your skill sets. Trust in God, and know that with hard work and perseverance, that things will work out for your good as well. With that said, before we go into the questions that you guys provided for me, I'd like to thank everyone also for literally engaging with the poll and dropping down the questions that you had. I will try to the best of my ability to answer them. However, if you felt like there were some aspects of the questions that I didn't fully answer to how you expected me to, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn and pop me a personal DM, and I will surely get back to you and address whatever other questions that you might have. With that said, before we get into it, to give you a brief background of my journey and my story. So I graduated at SACAP end of 2022, and then I applied to various institutions for my honors. And unfortunately, even though I worked really hard and got good grades, I did not get accepted, which was actually quite interesting because I got a scholarship offer for the MasterCard Foundation program, and which I had to withdraw. Yeah, that was painful. That was painful, but I guess that was my path at that point. So I had to withdraw that because I did not get any university acceptance. So then 2023, I decided I'm not just going to sit down. So I went and I worked part-time for a year and volunteered at various institutions, right? 2023 again, I started the honors application process for the year 2024. I did the same thing. I applied. I got accepted this time at the University of the Western Cape, but for the BA honors program. And I was very excited. I was like, yay, the door has opened. Let's go, right? And unfortunately, again, I did not get to go because of financial constraints. And I remember 2024 was also the year I got accepted at I think it's the University of Access. I hope I'm pronouncing that well, but it's like a international university in Britain that I applied for to do my master's in psychology. I also got accepted there, but due to financial constraints and not finding a scholarship, how funny that the year after I get accepted at university, but I'm unable to find funding. But that's the paradox of my life during that point in time. And then 2024, because I also did not get accepted. And at that point, I decided that I'm going to leave the job that I had taken the year prior. I decided to just take a step back from everything that I was doing. So I took a step back and I took a year to just debrief, right? Debrief and actually anchor my my relationship with God and actually just understand what is it that I am not doing correct and why everything that I seemed like I'm planning out is actually falling apart. But I guess that's the beauty with God. Everything falls apart to fall back into place, right? Yes. And in 2024, I did my own personal project that went well, and then also started the honors application again for 2025. Fine. So I started again in, I think it was early March. So then I started doing my honors application prep. So reaching out to various people, mentors and previous lecturers to ask them if they have the capacity to help me out. And I did my application process. And Lord and behold, God is so good. By November 2024, I got a response again from the University of the Western Cape that I had been accepted for the BCom Honors in Industrial Psychology. Now, honestly, you can just see that my journey has not been a straight journey. And I guess the reason why I felt so prompted to share that with every single person who will be watching this video is that sometimes your journey will look different from other people, and that's okay. That will be your story to tell, and that will equip other people to feel that, if she could make it, if her journey wasn't as straight and so perfect, it's possible for me to also make it. It's not one way route to get into something. There are different paths that a person can go into something. That's what I want everyone to take away from this, that it's possible. Even though it seems like it's delayed, it is possible. Okay, that's a bit of a that's a bit of a background story. I hope I kept that short, sweet, and concise. But with that said, I'll go on to the first question. So that is, which institution is this program offered? As I said previously, I am currently doing it at the University of Western Cape. However, there are other universities that offer a BCom honors in industrial psychology. You just have to do your research and check if their curriculum aligns with what your passions are. The next question: what programs are in place to help students study honors in industrial psychology if they have honors in counseling psychology and completed psychometry program but don't have IOPs on their undergraduate? I guess with this question, already you have an added advantage, the fact that you did psychometrics, right, in your undergrad. So you can easily transition into an IOP honors degree. And by that, I mean, currently I did psychometrics in my first semester, but I didn't do that in my undergrad, right? So I don't also want people to think that there is a special developed course for people who have a counseling background who just want to transition into become industrial psychology. I do not know currently if there's any program of sorts, because the program that I'm doing is a program that has already been there, that's already been established. And as I said, it's by God's grace that I got this opportunity to be in this program, but it's also the hard work that I put in ensuring that I got good grades. And I guess they also took that into consideration when they were looking at my application, right? So the third question is, which university offers a good environment for students? That is a good question. But at the same time, I feel that I would be biased if I'm saying this university and that university, because I don't have a comprehensive view of what different universities offers. I can only speak to the two universities that I have had an experience with, and that is SACAP as well as the University of Western Cape. But as general advice, I would say look at your goals, look at what your career goals are, look at what you would want your student experience to be like, and reach out to people in various institutions, ask them like, how was the university like, what was their experience, but also it's important not to take on their projections, but just do your own overall research and background in terms of, okay, do I feel like I would be a good fit if I go into this university, and will they grow me and develop me in the way that I feel like it's needed for me to grow? Yeah. And then, sorry, I feel like I've been talking for a while that my throat is even acting up a bit. But let's move on to question 4. It says, how did you prepare for the application and what would you recommend to prospective students? So in terms of the application, right, my recommendations would be start early and prepare early. And by that, I mean, when I was doing my applications for all the years, I always make sure that I reach out, first of all, to the referees, like the people who I'd want them to complete my referee report. So I reach out to them early before applications open, to ask them generally if they have the capacity to help me out when applications do open, because honestly it does take time for someone to have to sit down and think about you and the qualities you bring and what will make you a good candidate for that specific program and so forth. So also understanding that we have to be courteous, the fact that they are willing to help us, be respectful of their time by asking beforehand, and that shows also that you're a bit organized. Well, from my buyer's perspective, right? So I would do that. And then also getting all your documentation ready, like a month before applications open, working on your motivational letter. If you're doing an internal application, certain documentation may not be needed, but if you're also applying externally to various organizations, other universities might ask you for things like your code of conduct. So reaching out to your university and asking them for like a code of conduct, so that's ready, so that once applications open, you literally have everything sorted out and you're just having to do things like, the normal process that you go through your application, and you're just attaching all your documentation and it's all done. And then you send your referees like a message or an email to say, hey, I've completed this. This is what they require from you. Can you kindly do it? This is the due date. Please ensure it's done. And also checking in and following up with them as time progresses to see if they actually did do your referee report. So that would be some of the recommendations that I would have for prospective students. Question 5. Okay. Were there any challenges you faced during the application process, and how did you overcome them? I had a smooth application process. When I think about it overall, throughout the different years, I did not experience any challenges. However, my general advice would be, if you do possibly do encounter a challenge, various universities have student services, right? So you can just pop them an email or call them to actually ask for assistance with your university application process, and they will surely help you out. Question 6. What was the biggest adjustment you had to make when starting the program? Oh, that's a good question. That is a very, very good question. So one of the biggest adjustments that I had to make was moving to a different province, right? I'm usually based in Johannesburg, so I had to move to Cape Town to be able to do my honors program. And another biggest adjustment that I had to make was a mind shift adjustment. And by that, I mean having to understand that what got me through my undergraduate degree is not the same mentality that I'm going to have to get me through the honors degree, right? Also taking into consideration things like, my undergrad was like a step-by-step process where it's a 3-year program, right? And each and every year it's added knowledge building onto the foundation that you've established in your first year. And you can like take in the various concepts and put them together and gain a holistic understanding of what psychology is and all of that, right? But then switching from that, leaving that behind and coming to industrial psychology, where now we're taking it back to the foundation. You have to set the foundation because this is totally different from what you majored in your undergrad. So it's like starting from zero with like no foundation, right? So that was another biggest adjustment that I had to make, understanding that whatever studying methods that I had when I did my undergrad degree, I can't apply that to this honors degree because of how the program is structured and how this is a totally different field that needs me to adapt and be agile in a specific way. And I guess those are the two biggest adjustments that I had to make. Yeah, so location-wise and mindset shift. Question 7. Which modules or assignments stood out to you the most and why? I would have to say there was a module in first semester we did called organizational behavior. The reason why that stood out to me is I saw like few of the psychology theories that were being incorporated in that. So basically that module had to do with understanding behavior of employees at work in the organization, what drives them and all of that. And for me, that was particularly interesting because I'm interested in people analytics or behavioral analytics, basically. So that module really tapped into that and it intrigued me. So I really enjoyed that module, even though it had a lot of theory, but it was a great module. Another module that I'm interested in and I did not foresee me even being interested in is advanced human resource management. And I guess an aspect of it intriguing me is that how it touches on various business components and elements, right? And breaking it down. And, when you look at businesses, when you don't have the knowledge of what it takes for a person or an organization to be that successful, it seems like, it's everyday knowledge. These people, surely they can do it. But then with HR, you see there are so many components that go into stuff, right? That you as an individual outside, you would not necessarily think that these are the processes that go into this specific component into a business, right? So that has been intriguing to me. It's been surprisingly an interesting module for me. That's why. Question 8. What skills or personal qualities have you developed through the program? Skills, technical skills, I would definitely have to say using a software called SPSS for statistical analyses, right? So that has been a great skill to learn. I'm currently still doing that, so that is interesting. I feel that would be a skill that's going to help me whether I'm doing my master's whether I'm working, whether I'm doing my own research, whatever, it's going to be a great skill for me to tap into and use. And another skill I would say would be a soft skill, and that would be presentation skills. With the way the curriculum was structured, I feel that they were so intentional with mimicking the real world experience with the honors program in terms of we had so many presentations this year, so many presentations. And the moment you thought you won't have a presentation, there's another presentation waiting for you. But it was a good way for us to get out of our shells and for us to be comfortable with presenting and get used to the fact that when you launch into the world, this is what you would need to do. You need to present your ideas to people. You need to sell your ideas to people. So that has been a skill that I've been developing throughout the program. And in terms of personal qualities, I would say I would mention one, and that would be giving grace to myself. I know that may sound cliche to a lot of people, but to the people who know me, who are close to me, they know that I'm very driven, right? And by that I mean I'm totally doing things, I'm juggling various hats and so forth, right? And I try to the best of my ability to show up well and show up in excellence for whatever I have committed myself to do. But I guess with this program, doing something business related for the first time, I had to give myself grace in terms of understanding that, hey, it's the first time that you've launched into this, it's the first time that you're learning about these concepts, give yourself grace. You have not necessarily woken up, and you don't necessarily wake up and you're expecting something. You take steps to develop yourself. And that's where I had to give myself grace, because there are certain times where, assignment marks would come out and I would be so bummed, I'd be like, oh, this does not truly represent me. But then I had to remember, like, hey, for someone who did not do any business modules in high school, who did not even major in any business modules in undergrad, and you're tackling this for the first time, you're doing pretty well. Celebrate that, So I guess that's what I mean when I say this program has allowed me to give myself more grace, and it has allowed me to give myself more compassion and to be kinder to myself. And basically unlearn a lot of things that I thought made up who I am. And it's been an interesting journey. But a good journey overall. Finally, the last question 9. Looking back, is there anything you wish you knew before starting honors? I would say I wish I knew how quick the year was going to go by. Because every day, yes, I am aware time is going. But I also feel like I just got here yesterday. And what do you mean this program is going to end soon? Like, the relationships that I've established with various people, now I have to say goodbye to all these people. Yes, it's not necessarily a goodbye, it's see you again, but you get what I mean, that it truly goes by so fast. And I wish I knew how to sit in the moment and take it in and be fully engaged and appreciate it more. Not that I don't appreciate it, I guess because I was on a go because of how the curriculum was structured. I did not get that time to just take a a step back, debrief, and appreciate how far I've come and what I did well and what areas I should improve in and so forth. But I guess that's what I wish I knew, how quick it would go and how to appreciate the little moments and be present, fully present. Yeah. But those are all the questions that you guys had for me. I truly hope that I answered them to the best of my ability. And if you do feel like you have more questions for me, as I previously stated in the introduction, please do feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, send me a personal DM, and I will surely respond to your message. But with that said, I just want to say to you, if you are looking at this video until this point in time, I truly, truly hope that you know that whatever that you have set your mind to and your heart to, that it is possible through God. Have faith, keep on pushing, and I'm rooting for you. You know, there might be minor obstacles, there might be delays, but it is all possible. And keep working hard. And also, don't forget to have fun in the process. Do not forget to have fun. Sometimes we are so serious that we forget to have fun in the process of doing things. Yes, life is serious, but having fun also makes it better. And it's an added bonus to your mental health. So with that said, I hope you all have a great year ahead. Wishing you all the best with your applications. And yeah, that's it from me. Bye.